It is said that at the dawn of time, man, beast, and all magical beings lived together under Aeglin, the father tree. But man had been created with a hole in his heart, a hole that no possession, power, or knowledge could fill. And in his infinite greed, man dreamt of expanding his dominion over the entire earth. Blood of many an elf, ogre, and goblin was spilled in their war with man. And King Balor, the one-armed king of Elfland, watched the slaughter in dread and despair. But one day, the master of the goblin blacksmiths offered to build the king a golden mechanical army, 70 times 70 soldiers that would never know hunger and could not be stopped. Prince Nuada begged his father to agree. "Build me this army," the king said. So, a magical crown was forged that would allow those of royal blood to command the Golden Army if unchallenged. "I am King Balor, leader of the Golden Army. Is there anyone who disputes my right?" And in his throne room, no one challenged his word.
Oh, wait. What if someone could challenge him? Would they have a fight?
Well, most likely, a challenge must be answered. But you want to hear the end of this story or not?
Yes, please.
Right. So, the world was changed. And the next time the humans marched, they felt the earth tremble beneath their feet and saw the sky darken with monstrous shapes. The Golden Army had no remorse, felt no loyalty or pain. And King Balor's heart grew heavy with regret. So he called a truce and divided the crown in 3 pieces, 1 for the humans and 2 for himself. In exchange, man would keep to the cities and the magical beings would own the forests. This truce would be honored by their sons and the sons of their sons until the end of time. But Prince Nuada did not believe in the promises of man. And it is said that he went into exile, vowing to return the day his people needed him most. So the Golden Army lay dormant, locked inside the earth, waiting. And there it is to this day, awaiting the day the crown is made whole again, silent, still, and indestructible.
What does it mean indestructible?
Indestructible
Indestructible.
means no one can destroy them. Go to sleep, my son.
But it's just a story, right, Pops?
Is it now?
Yeah, come on. Those guys, they can't be real.
Well, my son, I'm sure you'll find out.
Islam, Shalom, Hola, Aloha, Bonjour, Osio, Assalamu Alaikum. This is your brother Zach Bay, Indigenous American Moor, coming to you live and in full effect. Thank you for joining me. Like, share, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell down below to be notified whenever I'm dropping new content, leave a comment, and interact with my content. I really appreciate your viewership. Thank you. Let's jump into it. I know you've seen the clip at the beginning about Hellboy Golden Army. I spoke on that in one of my previous videos, and I really wanted to make more of a full video to speak on that. It's important because, like, that scene always stuck out to me when I first seen it, and I'm like, wow, it's definitely something to this, especially about that part when it says, like, humans or mankind has a hole in them that can't be filled. It's like, like an emptiness, a hunger. So I want to call this one filling the void. Like what can fill that void that's within you, that's within humans, that's within mankind. Like a hunger, whether it's a hunger for knowledge, a hunger for understanding, overstanding, and understanding, a hunger for power, a hunger for carnal pleasures, hunger for the 7 deadly sins, gluttony, greed, lust. You know, whether it's a hunger for any of these things, it seems that everybody has something that they're striving for. It seems like everyone has something that they're missing. Even when it goes to finding your true love, it's like the saying goes, like, you're a half until you find the person who completes you. But in all truthfulness, we should all be completed, and then we should find the other to complement our completeness to make us even more complete. So, like, we have to find a wholeness within ourselves, because if we go into a union, especially a righteous union, like marriage, what marriage really should be, truthfully, not just the brand new form of marriage that we have now, the more common form, that like the 3-party contract between you, the other person, and the government. Not just, the paper, but I'm talking about the actual spiritual bond with it, the actual covenant that's supposed to be formed between you, that person, and the Most High God. That's not supposed to be broken. So if you go into a union like that, and you still have something that's incomplete inside of you, that you think that other person can fill, but you don't know if that other person can fill it, that could potentially ruin the relationship. Both people should be whole within their own selves, and then joining together should make an even greater whole. You know what I'm saying? So it's like two 100s put together. It's not just 200, but it's another, that 200 becomes 100%. You get what I'm saying? It switches from just the numbers to the percentage. So I feel like, everybody should strive and work on themselves before you maybe go into like a divine union or marriage, or any kind of union that's supposed to last a lifetime, without doing some inner work on yourself and trying to figure out what you're hungry for, figure out what void that's within you that you're trying to fill, if you have not found it yet, because everybody is on a different spiritual journey. Personally, I thought about what are people really like trying to feel in their lives. Like everybody has something that they're going for. Some people might be going for wealth. Some people might be trying to find true love. Some people might just want to do something better for everyone, answering to like a purpose. So I feel like the best way to go toward that is to figure out what your true purpose is, what your divine purpose is. What were you put here to do? We're all different, but that makes us all special. We all have like a common bond or connection. We all look up at the same sky. We all breathe the same air. So something connects us, even though we're all very, very different. And it seems there's some things that are like universally known, like some factors that are universally known, or people are aware of, that it seems to affect all of mankind. Like we all have the ability to dream, at least as far as I know. We're starting to learn about some people who have who seem to not have like imagination. I forgot the name of this disorder, or this the name of this like characteristic. But it's people who like can't form an image inside their mind, like who don't have imagination. Some people, they say, don't have like an inner monologue. So like when someone thinks, they don't have a like a voice inside their head, whether it's their voice or some other voice. I often thought about this. It's like someone asked a question, is when you speak to yourself, whether it's good, like positive reinforcement, or negative reinforcement, whether you're telling yourself you can do something or you can't do something, whether you're telling yourself you're afraid or you're not afraid, you're brave or what voice do you hear? Like I've heard tales or stories of people who hear other voices, but I think it's more common that people hear their own voice. And then also, if you're speaking positive and life into yourself, in that voice that you hear inside of your mind or inside of your heart, inside of your spirit, is that the voice of God? You know, I've often thought about this. Like, if God was to speak to you, is it going to sound like your own voice, especially if you're the only one who can hear it? That's very, very peculiar. It's very, very interesting, I would say. Just a thought that I've thought about. Something else I wrote here says, when powerful voices or figures or images disappear, the artificial matrix will try to fill it, will try to fill that void with its own programming. So if you don't have a drive, if you don't have something that's within you that's pushing you, you don't have like a goal, you don't know what your purpose is, you don't have a strong mental clarity or image of like visualization of what you want to accomplish, what you want to do, often it's easy for your will, for your drive, for your determination to be overshadowed, to be washed over by anything that's going on out here. It's kind of easy for it to, just be blown away with the wind, as people say it. A thought or idea you might have had. So I think it's very important that when you have an idea that you feel strongly about, you should write it down. Pencil and paper, pen and paper, write it down. Or if you want, you have like a note tab on your smartphone, pop it open and go ahead and jot that down, and keep a list, time, date, whatever, just so you can keep those inspirational thoughts so they don't just come into your mind and then blow away within the next few minutes. Also, it's very important to keep a dream journal next to your bed if you can remember your dreams. If it's not just you go to bed and it's just darkness, blackness, and then you just wake up and you rise in the AM. If you can actually remember those dreams as, like, say you're watching a movie, or if you have the ability to lucid dream and you can interact within those dreams and you can change things and change the outcome and the scenery and all that, you should definitely write those dreams down when you first rise, because a lot of times those give us insight on issues that we are trying to work out in the physical plane of reality. So spiritually and mentally, our minds are working to solve issues and problems and to make the way clearer, empty out some of that clutter that might be blocking us and slowing us in our physical reality, in our waking life. So that's very important to be aware that what strong emotions, what strong feelings, what drive, what determination you have to push you toward a goal, make sure you keep those close in your heart and in your mind, whether you're doing it for your family or you're doing it so something you went through doesn't happen again, to prevent. Make sure you keep those thoughts and those that encouragement. Make sure you keep it close. Make sure you keep it close and you guard it, because there is a lot of distractions out here to distract, especially the righteous ones, from their path and their purpose. So the artificial matrix will try to fill that void with something if you can't keep those close and guarded. I also wrote down here that on the last Matrix movie that came out, if you think about it, Neo had people, if you haven't seen it, hopefully this isn't any spoilers, but if you have seen it, it's been out for a while now, but Neo was sort of being kept in check when he was recaptured by the Matrix, and he was being forced the blue pill. If you know the lore behind like the red pill and the blue pill, the choice that was made in the first Matrix, red pill, awaken to the real reality of things, blue pill, keep you asleep, and you can believe whatever you want to believe, all right? So he was pretty much being, not force fed, but he was being coerced into taking these blue pills, which was keeping him mentally suppressed, keeping him stuck within the Matrix. And then he also had handlers. So he had these handlers, these people who would appear, or these people who are placed in his life to keep him on a certain path, on a certain goal, pretty much to keep him from fulfilling his righteous purpose, his divine purpose. They'll always pop up. So it's like, imagine if you're trying to pray, or if you're trying to complete a task that you know you must do. You want to, say you're writing a book, or you're an artist, you're a creator. You're trying to make content, or you're somebody who's spiritual, who prays and meditates. So often, it's like as soon as you're about to, sit down and do your thing, it's like the phone will ring, or a notification will pop up, or somebody might knock on your door, or some distraction pops up from the Matrix that's supposed to distract you and keep you from doing what you wanted to do within that time period, within that time frame. It happens a lot. I'll be preparing to pray or whatever or something, and then boom, the freaking phone will go off. I'll hear a freaking notification or something, or even while I'm praying, it'll be like a notification. Or if I'm sitting down and I'm gonna read, or I'm gonna meditate for 15 or 20 minutes, I often try to silence and put that stuff on do not disturb, so I don't get those messages and notifications. But I'm not perfect, so sometimes I do forget to put the do not disturb, airplane mode, whatever it might be, and I'm just like, boom, as soon as it's happened, bam, like clockwork, a notification pops up, or the phone's going off, or some alarm I forgot to turn off, and I'm just like, wow, it's always some kind of distraction to get me out of this mode, to get me out of this train of thought. So it's very important to be aware of that, and to combat it with determination and having a strong will. Will can be affected by motivation, can be affected by knowledge, can be affected by emotions. So it's very good to be strong-willed. Some people could just be blown away by the simplest thought, the most simple situation, something that they might feel like they don't have control over, and that's like somebody who has a weak will. They have no willpower to stand up for themselves, and if you don't have the willpower to stand up for yourself, how can you have the will to stand up for others? You get what I'm saying? So I feel like that's very important to keep that in mind in order to combat this hollowness, or this void that feels like it might just be either growing, or it's just completely bottomless, and there's nothing we can do to escape from a feeling of despair, or a feeling of self-doubt, nothingness, or a feeling of longing, or just an empty feeling. a feeling of not being fulfilled. It's very important to combat that. I also wrote down here, it says some find peace in silence and tranquility, and others can't find that peace and silence and tranquility, and they're tormented by their inner demons. So I realized this when I was younger. I want to say middle school. When I was in middle school, we would sometimes have like quiet time or like a study hall. Like when I say quiet time, I mean like a time where everybody is like, we're either supposed to be like quietly reading or something like that, or we're supposed to be writing in our journal or something. But it's a time where like pretty much the entire class is quiet and everybody is either focusing on a task, and it's something of that nature. And we're not supposed to be like, talking. It's kind of like one-on-one individual work. I noticed that there's always somebody who will make a distraction, a disruption, a noise, trying to break the silence. I'm just like, wow, why can't some people just sit in silence? Like, all you hear is the clock on the wall. Click, 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 click. All you hear is the clock ticking. You get what I'm saying? It's like, wow, why can't some people sit in silence? And as I got older, I started to realize that, like, even, when back in the day, if I had gotten in trouble in school and I got like in school detention, anybody who ever had in school detention, and you're pretty much in a room, the way it was set up in my school was all the desks were faced toward the wall, so we're not facing each other. You would sit in the desk and you're facing toward the wall. And you could do your work or whatever, from all your classes. They tell you the day before to make sure you get all your homework or all your work from all the classes you were supposed to have that day, so you could sit in that class all day and do that work alone. The class was mostly quiet, but I realized, it was always students who could not stay silent, who just couldn't be quiet. Of course, it's some people who could sleep through anything. Some people were able to like put their head down and go to sleep, depending on what kind of in-school suspension monitor you had. Some wouldn't really care. Some would be like, hey, no sleeping, but others, wouldn't care, would just let you sit there and sleep if you wanted to. But, I realized in school that I'm just like, some people are like afraid of silence. Like it seems like, I'm not sure if it's a fear. I don't know what it is, but it's like some people cannot tolerate silence. It's something in them that they just can't deal with it. And I feel like people who have an issue with that have trouble with like inner demons. There's something inside of them that they just can't keep quiet. They just can't silence it, be peace, live in the moment, breathe out, in and out, just breathe in, breathe out, be silent, don't open your mouth, don't activate your vocal cords, nothing. Some people, it's just impossible for them to do that. And I felt like it was a lot of females, it was a lot of women, a lot of girls who just really couldn't be silent. And of course it was, some majority of the so-called knucklehead boys. The guys were always like making trouble. The ones who weren't very, I guess, intelligent when it comes to, doing schoolwork, or at least not their type of intelligence. So I'm just like, wow, these people just can't be quiet. They just can't be silent. And I would often think, I was like, man, if I was trying to sneak and do something and not get caught, I would not want to have this person with me, because they just can't fucking shut up. It's crazy, And of course, some people being so-called snitches, or people being loudmouths, and people boasting and stuff like that. You can't get away with anything with somebody who can't be quiet. And that's one thing I thought of. I was just like, yeah, if this person can't be quiet doing this simple thing, I cannot trust them to be quiet doing something that's actually important, something that can actually, get us in real trouble, or whatever it might be. So you know, it's definitely good to have that type of awareness. So if you realize you're the type of person who just can't seem to keep quiet, you can't seem to find that inner peace, there's always a loud, obnoxious voice or an intrusive thought that comes into your mind, and you can't silence it and you can't push it out. You don't have great control over your mental composition, you know. So that's definitely something that you should work on. A good way to work on that is prayer. And if you don't pray, you can meditate. Silence. Meditate in silence. If you can face the east, if you can face toward the sun and meditate, do that. You know, as often as you can. I would say a minimum of 15 minutes, and that's a solid meditation. So say if you set up a 15-minute meditation session, give yourself an additional 2 minutes on top of that to actually get into that relaxed state. So give yourself an additional 120 seconds on the clock. So put it on 17 minutes, and you use that extra 2 minutes to actually get yourself in a calm, relaxed, tranquil, peaceful state, and try to silence your mind while you go into that meditative state, and work on your breathing. And one of the most important things is to actually focus on your breathing and live in the moment. Try not to think about the past, try not to think about the future. Just relax and be. I think that'll be very helpful for some of the people who have problems quieting that inner voice and quieting their mind to find that peace, tranquil state. I'm not going to make this video too long, but I do have a few more points to jump into before I finish it. Okay, so helping people fill that void. I will say finding your purpose. Finding your purpose will help you focus on what's really important and help you narrow your focus to be laser focused on this task, and it should help you quiet that inner voice by being focused on your purpose and what you're supposed to be or do. Serving others. Hopefully your purpose involves serving others, whether it's people in your immediate life or it's the community as a whole, nationally or internationally or even worldwide. So serving people can help you quiet those inner voices of dissent and help you focus on what you're supposed to do, and give you like a righteous resolve to actually accomplish goals. I already said pray and meditate. I put both of those together, so you know that definitely helps. Think about what fulfills you. So when you're trying to find your purpose, you know, think about what fulfills you in order to fill that hole, that sense of longing. What are you lacking? You know, focus on that and try to remedy that situation or that feeling. Limit or get rid of what is not serving you. All right, so get rid of distractions out of your life. Get rid of roadblocks, barriers. Get rid of crutches. What's something that you're always leaning on as a crutch? Get rid of it and see how you can function without it. I will also say walk in nature with your bare feet, or do grounding. All right, so if you can't go to a park or something that has like plenty of trees with shade, like a little wooded area, you know, you hear some birds and stuff chirping, or you see squirrels and stuff running around. Somewhere where there's nature and there's animals, a pond or a lake or something, where there's not too many people, preferably where there's not too many cars, you know, and you can't hit the streets and stuff like that. But if you can't get like, you know, in like a decent little part of nature, to get some silence and some peace. Sit somewhere and put your feet to the ground, in the grass, in the sand, whatever. As long as your bare feet are touching the ground, that's some grounding. That will help you recharge some of the electromagnetic energies and frequencies that we actually receive from above and below. So if you have soles on your feet, which are rubber, everybody knows rubber blocks the conductivity of electricity. So if we are electrical beings, we should be receiving electromagnetic energies from the earth that we're walking on the ground, and that helps recharge our human vessel. Also, work on silencing your mind and getting clarity. That's the main thing that meditation and prayer helps for. Quieting your mind and clearing your mind's eye. When I say that, I mean, if you've ever done visualization practices, if you try to imagine something in your mind, I always try to do something that's like serene. So say I will imagine a crystal ball, and I want to make it as pristine and as clear as possible and as real and as detailed as possible. All right, so I want to imagine a crystal ball in my mind, and I can see the shine from it. I can see how pure it is. I can see clean through it. I can see what it's standing on or what it's sitting on, and there's nothing else that exists in my reality. Just that. And I'm just focusing on seeing this clear, pristine crystal in my mind. And that helps cleanse you. That helps silence your mind. During that time, you focus on breathing. You're not thinking about the past or the future. You're strictly in the present, and you're just being. It's not easy to do. It's incredibly challenging, but with practice, it gets a lot easier. Practice makes perfect, as they say. Last but not least, try not to internalize emotions or feelings. Let them flow through you and let them pass. This is a technique that I learned from Taoism. The Taoists, they have a philosophy of like letting things flow. Don't try to change the outcome of what might come. Just go with the flow. You're just in a state of being, and you're in a state of flow, non-resistance. So if you want to study Taoism, there's some great audiobooks that you can check out on YouTube. You can actually listen to while you're doing your morning workout, or your AM workout, or your routine, while you're studying, or while you're just doing your commute to work. You can listen to these audiobooks, and it gives you some great insight on mental, spiritual clarity. And I really think it's good for like mental and spiritual health to even, just look at and hear about some of these techniques that help you. But I want to close this and end this video by saying, truthfully, a lot of these things are great. A lot of these ways to fill that void are great techniques, but the only thing I believe truly that can fill that void within you is the Most High God. You have to believe that God made you for a purpose, and you're here to fulfill that purpose, because out of the billions of and millions of sperm that could have made it to that egg, you did, and you made it through the entire gestation period. You developed and you were born into this world, into this reality, to affect this world and affect this reality in a positive way. We were all meant here for something, whether or not our times are long or short. But I believe, God is the only thing that can really fill that void, that hole, that hunger, that hollowness that is within a lot of us, and it's more of us each and every day that seem to fall victim to this hollowness, to this sense of hopelessness and purposelessness that's out here. So, I just wanted to make this video to reach out to anybody who might have thought about this, and to really solidify the concept of finding your purpose and filling this void, and to not be overwhelmed, or to not fall victim to forces and energies out here that are trying to exploit you and trying to get you to never fulfill your righteous purpose and your goals. Once again, this is your brother Zach Bay, Indigenous American Moor. Thank you for joining me. Like, share, subscribe. Peace.